Hello, Wayfarers! Welcome back to Twilight, Vampire the Masquerade. We're back in again for another session. We had a bit of a kind of filler session last time, where we had a bit of a fun kind of flashback to before the campaign, which was a lot of fun. But we're back in with the main story tonight, and Fee, what the heck happened last time? Because I don't remember.
To be fair, I'm kind of struggling a little bit as well. I do remember that you guys had obviously done a lot more sort of investigating. You'd realised that Jack the Ripper was involved. It was something to do with him. You also realised that because Tabitha met Esme, that's what it was. Because you had a run-in with someone you shouldn't have. You've got to be very cautious about, and that was someone who worked for the prince. I think I told you her name.
You did. I don't remember what it was,
yeah,
but you did tell us.
Yeah. That's the sort I'm like, who's unprepared now? Zola, yeah.
Zola, and she had like her own title as well.
She's the sheriff.
She's the sheriff, yeah.
To the prince of the vampires.
To the prince.
To the prince.
I like my notes. I said maybe Taika Waititi.
Oh yeah, you said. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Oh God, that would be a twist and a half, wouldn't it? But yes. So, Esme and Tabitha met actually in the park that was in Tabitha's vision in the very first session we had. And that is now your sort of meeting place because it's away from eyes and ears. You did get info about Zola and what has been happening. She did warn you to stay away and not get involved, but when do you guys ever listen to authority figures? Even before you guys turned, she's never listened to authority figures. And yeah, then Cal was in the sewers and met up with his little ratlings, and they told him that someone from someone's past has betrayed you all. And now we come to tonight, where this information has been passed on. And now you all have to try and figure out who this person could be that could betray you. So, who's gonna go first?
Oh, where are we? Are we all at the flat? I take it.
I imagine
Is it the next night?
Yeah, the next night. Yeah.
So Tabitha's waking up and picking up her outfit for the evening and humming to herself a song she's been working really hard on for a few weeks.
Nice.
Called I Am So High.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's canon. That's really happened.
Yep.
It's all real.
It's all very real.
Yeah.
Cal will feed his bat. That is now a resident of the wall with him. But yeah, turn up eventually. Probably repeating the, because they said it in a kind of creepy, prophetic way. It wasn't just like ask your friends. It was like you must go back and all that. And it was pretty intense. So he would explain that. Apparently, our union has some skeletons in the closet that might be haunting us. It's all of this is connected to us. And while I know secrecy helps us survive, we may need to reveal about one another so that we can find the villain in the midst.
If I remember rightly, I probably won't be here because I'm in trouble.
You are in trouble.
Okay.
Yes.
Where is Reinhardt?
Yes, to quote what's his name? I'm in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you You
Yeah.
got summoned by your sire, essentially, to come and answer
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
his
that's
questions.
Yep.
that was the thing that happened. Yeah.
Yep.
I really should have rewatched our last game before tonight, but it's cool.
I mean,
Winging it.
can always like move it forward a day, move it back a day if that would help more.
Yeah, you have the power of time travel. That is true.
I mean, I do have the power of time
Yeah.
travel, but he did say the next day, so or the next night, I should say.
But you've got like hand wavium if it makes it easier for you.
No, I imagine he probably gave you a deadline, not like you have to be here as soon as it gets dark type of thing. I'm pretty sure I did say it was like midnight or something. 'Cause-
Time for sunset.
Oh, well, there you go. It was at sunset. Then you got to shift your butt. Right,
Yep.
heart.
Yeah, I'll be doing my usual thing of getting an Uber and going to probably a few streets away from where I need to be and then walk the rest.
Yep, that's fair. So you turn up at so they're given this address, like you know where this meet's gonna be, and it's in
The Swan car.
cliched. What?
The Swan car.
It's not the Swan car. The Swan car is burnt in this timeline, by the way. It never existed.
First.
You turn up in a church, in an abandoned church in an abandoned graveyard, slightly outside of the city. As you obviously walk up, you do know that you're not alone. You never are. He's always got people around. And as you get up to the church, there is a figure lounging in the doorway. And it's just like, you know, I was almost hoping you would be late.
Oh, well. You know, when you want to talk to someone, you generally turn up on time.
Did you want to talk to someone?
I mean, I think they want to talk to me, so I should probably turn up on time.
I mean, good luck, I guess. Do you care? No.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No.
And then she'll like sort of lean away from the door and just walk past you and try and like nudge you in the shoulder as she walks past.
If she tries to nudge me in the shoulder, I'm going to stick a foot, like just lift my foot up slightly.
I feel like she would expect that, so she probably just hops over your foot.
I'm just going to let out a small laugh and just walk inside.
Okay, I am. Did you put it on your character sheet now? The name of your sire?
Yep.
Because... Excellent. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I remember that. Yeah, so you walk into this church, like it's fairly derelict. It's in one of those areas where people have almost forgotten about it, apart from like kids and graffiti. So there's like random graffiti everywhere and things like that. But you know, just after sunset, there's not really going to be anybody here, and there's enough people to scare people away if they decide to turn up. So there's like holes in the ceiling, there's plants growing through the ground, and you see a figure standing where the altar would be, and he has his back to you.
Just going to slowly walk up, and as he's looking, I assume, to where the altar would be, I'm just going to say, you know, there is no salvation for us, right?
And you just hear this fairly low, kind of dark laugh. And he's like, I never asked for salvation.
Ah,
And neither did you.
no.
If I remember correctly.
No, I know exactly what I am.
Oh, pray tell, Reinhardt, what is that?
Oh, I'm the monster. Simple as that. I want power. I want knowledge. And I'll do what it takes to get it. You know that.
I do. I remember.
Yep, you helped make me that way.
Well, no, I just gave you extra tools for
Yeah.
you to help yourself.
Sorry, I'm not complaining. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing you for that. The amount of things that I've seen and I can do now is just fantastic.
And about some of those things that you have seen and can do. I believe that there are things happening that you have not been informing us about.
Yes and no.
Explain.
That there was a bunch of strange things that happened. We didn't know there was any connecting. I didn't know there was anything connecting them until now. So I decided that I'd wait until I had something. What do the people call it these days? Juicy to tell you, rather than just scraps of information.
Juicy. You can see he's almost disgusted with the fact that you said a word like that.
Yes. Now tell me, what do you know about Jack the Ripper?
I happen to know quite a lot about Jack the Ripper.
Is he facing me or?
No, he's still got his back to you.
Is there any seats around?
There's a couple of broken pews everywhere. There's nothing really yeah, there's nothing really like concrete.
Okay. Is there steps like near where he's stood on?
So it's a few steps up towards the altar. You know, like in a kind of old fashioned church. So you've got a couple of steps up.
So I'll
So
go
he is
to
standing above you.
so I'll go to his right hand side and walk up and sit down on the bottom step. Take out one of my cigarettes and light it up, and just blow out some smoke and go. Well, turns out somebody's enjoyed murdering people whose names mirror those of the Ripper victims. Apart from Jason Vasquez, but that's a separate matter. But more interestingly, they've been branding on their internal organs and removing bits.
Hmm. That sounds interesting.
Oh, and there's potentially another vampire at a nightclub.
Slightly more interesting.
Yeah, they've got some huge wards around it that you can't. Well, I can get through them. Maybe somebody else more powerful can, but they're pretty powerful. And if you certain streets around it are very uncomfortable to walk around.
Uncomfortable how?
I'm just gonna quickly read my notes to see what I could. Da, da, da.
I like to think that he has like a little notebook and he's like flipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
I
probably
imagine.
written in. It's like probably written in his own like shorthand.
Yeah.
It was a feeling that it was first of all really quiet,
Mm,
like super quiet. It's like something didn't want me there.
makes sense.
But it was much. It's about 30 foot wide, which
Impressive.
is a lot more powerful than I think I've ever heard about.
Mm. Well,
And I don't even think Vienna had that level of wording, or even had some, but I don't think I had anything that big. Oh, and the sheriff to the prince is now involved.
oh,
You know, to make things fun.
you got her involved. Really?
We didn't get her involved. She involved herself.
You can tell that that's the thing that's annoyed him the most. Like, he was kind of intrigued, and then you've mentioned the sheriff, and he's like, when did she get involved?
Only recently we've known that she's involved. Last couple of days it would have been that we've known she was involved.
Mm.
Yeah, she's got some of the police under her fingers, so.
Oh, yeah, it's mortals, yeah. Less. Slightly. Not trickier.
Yeah, this branding looks familiar though. Like,
do you have a copy?
I don't think I do, but I can sort that out.
If you can get a copy, I might be able to tell you what it means.
It reminded me of the early days of our clan, which is more worrying.
Well, possibly. It depends what it is that it's trying to do.
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out because it was just with them branding organs, it was very difficult to try and fit it together.
If you can get me the pictures of these brands, that would be very useful.
I should be able to. I want to go and check the books I have anyway. I just didn't grab the paintings, the pictures before I left. So I'll be able to get them.
I would hope so, because as you are aware, Reinhardt, you are, what did the youth say, skating on thin ice?
Yeah.
And I would hate for anything to happen.
I mean, you didn't care that much after you turned me and just left, so I might see your sudden show of compassion as a bit disingenuous.
Take it as you will. As you know, we have plans in the works, always plans in the works. As you know, knowledge is power. So keep me in the loop. We'll do a bit of tit for tat. You show me the pictures. I will tell you what this is. And we can go from there.
What about the seal on the...
Sorry, going on about cat drugs.
Best type.
Speak for yourself. It's only antibiotics. Yes. Sorry. What was it?
So there is the question of the other nightclub that seems to have a elder vampire in it as well. I'm not really sure how that links in with the organs, but I kind of feel like probably does.
It could do. It would depend what they're trying to do. I would have more information if you got me those pictures.
I don't. What about of the ward that is on an entrance to the club? Would that be useful?
That could be useful.
I'll see if I can find again. I'm not sure if it was visible or not. I can't remember.
I think Tabitha saw it.
I can't remember if we ever drew it down, but I might have to go and have another look. I mean, that's it. That is literally how exciting my life has been so far. See, I mean,
It's been fairly interesting.
yeah.
Certainly more than the last couple of decades, anyway.
Yeah.
And who is these things that you're with now?
Things.
You know, your little courtier.
Oh,
He's
just
very dismissive of it.
just people kindred spirits.
I hope not too kindred.
Everything has a purpose.
This is good. And he's like, be gone. Come back when you have the pictures. And he just walks away.
Can I send them to Aquila, or is she no longer? Am I no longer on her leash?
You'll always be on her leash because she is on mine.
She'll enjoy that. She's unbearable.
As are you to her.
So do you want me to bring So I bring the pictures directly to you. Don't send them to
Yes.
her.
No.
Oh, she's gonna love that.
This is between us, and she will know this. And at that, he raises his voice, and you can almost hear like a little scoff at the back of the church hall.
Told you I wasn't gonna get killed.
You just hear this going, there's still time! Like, disappears.
Let's go and take a long walk in the middle of the day.
And he's like, enough. Just bring the pictures to me
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you have them.
Yep. Shall do.
And then he just disappears.
Well, that's just a bit over the top.
He's dramatic.
See, if Reinhardt knew how to use a phone, we could just send him the pictures right now.
He doesn't have a camera phone though, so it wouldn't work anyway.
Also, magic and technology doesn't always go hand in hand, being nice with each other. So there's a good chance I could take a photo and then just explode the flat.
And also, what you realised is when you got close, you could feel essentially the magic and power coming off.
Yeah, they did something with another bit of technology, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was like a phone or something. They really screwed with it. So yeah.
They've been playing with stuff. So.
I like this idea of the rest of us in the apartment, and Cal goes, "Where's Reinhardt?" It's like, and Tabitha just says, "Oh, don't worry, I texted him." And Reinhardt just get like 4 boxes that shows up on his phone.
Box question mark, box question mark.
Yeah.
And it's like you immediately know it's Tabitha, and you're like, oh, damn it. Yeah, so he just disappears, and Aquila's just like, whatever, loser. And she just walks out the door. She's like that kind of bratty child. She's like, and walks off.
I am going to smile as she strops off.
I expect nothing less.
Yeah, and then to the text message I get, I'll just respond with, was busy with work, on my way now.
See?
I mean, I'm just guessing that's what she wanted.
I feel like anytime any boxes come, you know it's Tabitha.
Yeah.
And you just go, I'll be there soon, or
Yeah, yeah, it's a
whatever.
default answer.
That was a wildly impressive guess, I must say.
So what are
Yeah.
you guys doing? Well, Reinhardt's.
Lou is just kind of chilling out on the sofa, waiting for Reinhardt to arrive. For the first time since you guys all since this group got together and were living in The Hague, for the first time since moving into this flat, Lou is hanging out in the flat with a shirt on.
Wow.
This is how seriously he's taking this.
That he's put clothes on.
He's actually dressed.
If we're just waiting, Tabitha goes into her room and then comes out with a little porcelain figurine of a swan and a little toy car, and she sits on the table, starts taking the car apart, and she's got glue.
Are you actually going to build Reinhardt a swan car?
I am.
Oh, I really wish I'd never introduced that to you, Chris.
Destroy it.
You made that rod for your own back.
I did. I totally did.
Carl's just going to look after the bat in his hoodie. I'm going to carry it around for a little bit. I'll be like, where is he? What does he even do as a job? He always says he's at work.
Why does he have a job? Like,
I don't know. That's what I mean.
I mean, I have a job.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, of course you have a job, darling, but let's face it, it's not a job, it's a passion that you make money from.
Yeah.
We all have jobs, like I keep you all alive. But what did Reinhardt do?
Don't know.
Where is he
Probably
going?
something very stuffy and boring in an office somewhere.
I feel like that's exactly what he wants us to think.
I feel like at this moment Reinhardt walks in the door.
Good. We were just
Hello.
discussing you.
Yes.
And
Where do you work?
the National Archives.
Called it. Stuffy, boring in an office.
I told you this already. I
You
showed
have,
you
but
what I did.
You're right. You're right. You have.
I restore books, letters, paintings, things like that.
I didn't know you were still doing that.
Yeah. It gives me something to takes my mind off things. And also
Brings
sometimes it's helpful to, remove yourself from books when you might accidentally crop up.
Yes, I suppose editing history is a potent tool. Speaking of which,
That is very fair. That's very fair.
my cousins have said it is our histories that haunt us.
Ah. So, what, someone from our pasts is fucking with us?
In one way or another. How
Wonderful.
long is your list of enemies?
Well, I mean, that really depends on how many have figured out it was me.
Yeah, that is true. I do not pretend to have all of your information. If I
No.
did, I would probably feel more comfortable, but I feel like we are going to have to share such. It's too long to compile a list and scan everybody. We'll be looking in all the wrong corners.
It's fair. I feel like I've been fairly open with you for the most part, Cal, but yeah, there are definitely things you don't know.
And I think that must change because
Yes.
we are at a disadvantage. They know what you know, and I do not.
Well, that's assuming it is someone from my past, but yes, no, we all should share. And I mean, I'm happy to go first, or
Yes.
whatever. I'm not particularly shy about the past as such. Definitely have some regrets.
Life is like that.
Yeah,
And death, even more so.
it's fair. I was born in Lille, in France.
I've been there.
Yes. And amazing music change.
Yes.
Thought the mood took it.
I was born there and grew up in that part of France. Never really went much of anywhere. But when the war started, we were one of the first places to be attacked and taken over by the Germans. I wanted to fight back. I found a pocket of French resistance fighters who turned out to be Toreador. I worked with them for a little while and started a relationship with one of them, Lenora. She had a very different approach to love than I was used to.
How so?
Well, back then I wasn't quite the flamboyant, out there whore that I am today. I was a lot more reserved. I knew that I was not straight, but I never dared try anything back then. You just didn't back then.
No, I remember.
But she very much encouraged me to. And opened my eyes up to a lot of things. After a couple of years with her, she sired me.
It was a mutual decision. You knew?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know at first. But over the years I found out and learned more and more about it, and eventually I decided that I wanted to change. And Lenora agreed. It was actually a very consensual thing, which is unusual, I get.
Very, yes.
But it is what happened. Then,
When we reached out to her, yes, continue. I was about to say, why would she have any grudge against you?
oh, we'll get to that. After the war finished, I went a bit stir crazy for a while. Been fighting and living quite aggressively for a few years, and then everything went quiet. So Lenora got me into painting. That's where I started that, and I'm just going to turn the music down as quick because that's real loud on my side.
Yeah, it got very loud very quickly.
It did. She got me into some painting and kind of started filling my time with that. And, well, as much as I do enjoy it, it's not quite the thrill that I was seeking. After the Cold War started, about 3 years after the Cold War started, we started traveling all the way around Europe. Never wanted to stay in one place for too long, in case people got familiar with us and started seeing that we didn't age. So, and with Toreadors, we're social creatures. We like to be around people. So we travelled around. And this is kind of when I started my obsession with serial killers. With the feeling of being incredibly powerful and the feeling of just the feeling of the thirst. I had this desire that I wanted to become a killer myself. Of course, at this point that seems kind of redundant, but that's where I kind of went with it for a while. So I made my first kill in 53. We were in Finland. There was this young girl, Orli Sari. I think that's how you pronounce her name anyway. We didn't really explain... we didn't really take the time to get familiar with each other. But her name was in the papers afterwards. Which is one of the first reasons why I fell out with my clan, or they fell out with me. I seduced her, led her out into the woods, and killed her. And it became a pretty notorious cold case very quickly. Well, it was a hot case for a while, and then it went cold, because we didn't stick around. The Toreador were not happy, to say the
Put them
least.
at risk.
Yes, I did. I got very reckless. And I didn't stop there. We continued to travel for many years, and then in 75, I met a Playboy bunny, which was quite fun. Eve Stratford. And once again, I played my game, seduced her, and killed her. Really wanted to emanate the serial killer vibe with her. I ended up cutting her throat.
I remember reading about it, yes.
Yeah. She... Well, after she died, and again, it became this very big story in the news, and the Toreador continued to be very pissed off at me. We ended up, not long after that, in Berlin, which was a fun place to be during the Cold War. Whilst everyone tried to lay low in West Berlin, I couldn't help myself and kept jumping the wall. At that point, my clan had enough of me. I was too much of a liability. They got very angry. They abandoned me. Understandably. After that, I was terrified. Never had to look out for myself before. Didn't really know how to do it. That's right about the time I met you, Cal.
They'd be in numbers.
Absolutely. And, well, you taught me how to survive on the streets, which I needed. You got me through that difficult time. And eventually, we moved out here to The Hague. And I began to pick myself back up again. I know there are definitely people here that I've pissed off. There's one girl who's always had it out for me, Sky. I can't blame her, I fucked her boyfriend. But...
Well,
yeah.
do you feel she has this level of power and jilted eggs?
She is...
It seems the less extreme of your transgressions.
It definitely does. She is. I wouldn't say she's super powerful. She has some job of importance. I never really bothered to learn what it was. She definitely.
troubling.
Yeah, she definitely tried to cause problems for me, but nothing really stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
that's.
never met any serial killer rivals? You said it may be connected to the Ripper. That feels the most
I wouldn't even
gently connected.
put it as rivals or anything like that. It was. That would. I don't recall anything like that being a thing. And the thing is, the two high profile kills that I ended up getting, those weren't traced or connected to each other in any way. For one thing, there's like, well, how long? For one thing, there's like a 22-year difference between the kills, so. Which again, kind of makes the whole wanting to be a serial killer thing a bit redundant because, you know, with infinite time, I've definitely killed more than enough people to get that status. But
You sound almost competitive. Nobody's saying you're not a serial killer.
no, it's not that. I don't think I am one. Not in the sense that a human would understand it.
No, you don't crave the notoriety. You enjoy the experience.
I don't crave the notoriety. I do enjoy the experience, but at the same time, I don't. In my head, being a vampire being a vampire negates the whole serial killer thing. Unless I went around killing other vampires. You know? I mean, is a man who works in a slaughterhouse a serial killer because he kills cows?
No, I understand, yes. You work in an abattoir, it is just work.
Yes. You know? A butcher is not the Ripper.
Mm-hmm. Very poetic. Well, if you are being forthright, I don't see any outlying, vengeful enemy lying in wait.
No.
Your sire is on the way here. She has messaged me.
Yes. I am conflicted on that one.
Mm.
It is a weird thing. There was love between us, but there is resentment as well.
I find resentment often outlasts love.
Yeah, possibly. We shall see what she says when she arrives.
Shall I will be sure to record it.
Absolutely. But
Then I do not
that's
feel
more or
it is
less
in your
me.
past. Perhaps there is something we're missing, but still.
I don't think there's much there that it could be. Like I say, unless someone was to trace some of those killings back to me, or it could, if it was someone from my old clan, maybe, but this doesn't feel like them at the very least. This Sky person, maybe, but I don't really know. Couldn't.
Are they kindred themselves?
I don't
Glad
think
to
so.
ask that.
I don't think so. I never really paid much attention to her, to be honest.
Hmm.
I very much was more interested in her boyfriend.
Clearly.
Enjoyed him for a little while.
He is dead now.
No, funnily enough, he actually is still out in the world.
How unusual.
Yeah.
That is a rarity in your mythology.
It certainly is.
Should be thanking you.
I think
They never know how close they've come.
she was looking at me pretty closely for for a long time, and if I had killed him, it's a good chance that she would have realized. I could have killed her as well, I guess, but
You may have to eliminate her if it gets down to process of elimination in the
Right.
literal sense.
potentially. And I guess I wouldn't feel bad about it. Not that I've really felt bad about anyone that I've killed. But yeah, I don't know. She was just a nothing to me, but I was certainly significant to her for a while.
Well, we can investigate her, but it does not sound like she has the power.
Not as far as I'm aware. But yeah, that's me.
Thank you. I know it is difficult to expose oneself in this world.
Well, I've never had an issue exposing myself.
As soon as I said it, I knew you would respond as such. What about you two?
I can go first if you like. Well,
I imagine you don't have too many friends, Reinhardt.
no. So, well, I was born in Munich. Studied university history and art, which is why I've got the job that I've got, that you all find very strange.
No, it is logical.
It's actually where I got these scars, and he points to these scars that go along there on his cheeks. They're actually dueling scars. It was a rite of passage then. In Germany, you would get into duels with people, and it would be until you were cut on the face, and they were, very. The ladies liked them, so we are all suckers for love, I suppose. Between studying, I worked at an antique store with my grandfather, and I actually found during that time some books, nothing particularly fancy. I sold a mirror to someone who would actually come to be quite historically important a few years later. And it's through this work that I met my sire at the time.
Wait, who? Don't leave me hanging like that. Who became historically significant?
He was Austrian. He had a funny little mustache. He went a bit mental.
Yes,
as the kids would say.
I
But
didn't
time
meet
I
the
met
man,
him, he
but
was
I've
just
seen it.
a politician, like a minor politician at that. Yeah. So
Minor politician at the time. Wild to think of him as that.
Humans can do the most intense and nefarious things.
So I found this grimoire that was written in this language that I couldn't understand. So I had this professor I still knew contacted him, and he put me in contact with someone, and that person was able to translate it. Well, they kind of translated it. This is where my ascension begun. There's a man called Matthias Holder. And he said I had to go and get this mirror back, which I had to do some things for. Not all of them particularly great. So I was pretty much damned from the beginning, to be honest, because I just needed to know what was in this book. So any shred of humanity I had left well before I was turned. Which clears your mind, actually. It's quite liberating. But, find these things, get the mirror back, and then I'm embraced. I left Munich in 43, started really rampaging through France for a bit, seeking new things, seeking secret and hidden objects that I'd learned from this book. And I got into a bit of a cat and mouse game with the Anahub at one point, which was great fun. Just fun fact, don't have occult obsessed Nazis chasing you through occupied France. It gets a bit tiring after a while. So
They could still pose a threat. Their ideology still dwells.
yeah,
Mm.
that's true. I mean, the lot that I dealt with are either dead in Brazil or Argentina, so we don't really need to worry about them.
You are certain of that fact?
They'd be very old now.
Okay.
Time will have finished them off. And then, because of what I do, I realised very quickly that I needed a lot of blood. And the West at the time was... It wouldn't have been as easy as it was to work during the war. So I did the only obvious sensible thing you can do. I travelled to the Soviet Union. Because there was a supply of people.
Many, yes. I worked there for a while.
Yeah, so I spent quite a long time in there, actually. Until the breakup of the Soviet Union. Then ended up in Vienna. Then I made an enemy. And fled
Wait.
to Chantry.
Hold.
Hmm?
This sheer spilling of our blood is in the effort to exhume enemies. You have very quickly skipped over somebody you anoint as an enemy. That's the detail we need. And I'm sure Vienna was lovely, but I'm much more interested in who can oppose us.
Oh, it's amazing.
I've heard. It's still enemy.
The gargoyles are incredible.
Skip the holiday
some of them are
snaps,
alive.
please.
Okay, so her name was Lisette Levron, and she was a fellow member of the Vienna Chantry. I don't know how much you know of the Tremere.
Little, my friend. Only that you are arcane imbued.
So,
magic.
the main... So before the attack in Vienna, the Tremere worked in things called chantries. And had this pyramid structure. It's all about culty. And this was one of the most important things. So obviously I went there to try and learn. And I annoyed Lisette.
Annoyed?
She was a competitor, and I tried to remove the competition. Technically, we're not allowed to kill each other. That's...
yes, I can imagine.
But there's nothing about causing each other huge amounts of pain. That technically isn't banned. Or making you look silly in front of the more senior members. It was very... you fight your way to the top.
I see.
And, and just to kill someone would be very brutish. So you would plant false rumours and have plans that would blow up in people's face, that sort of thing. Now, I kept doing this, and I pushed it further and further each time. I would say that there was... that was a good one. The hidden grimoire somewhere. An object of power. And of course, she'd go off running to try and find it. More often than not, it may have just happened to go through werewolf hunting grounds. Because I didn't kill her then. Or maybe you'd plant you'd plant something of hers at a hunter's bar, that sort of thing, but really mess it up. Um, then leave the people splayed open for the next ones to find. Um, until she was getting hunted. And this went on a while until she tried to send me on a wild goose chase. So I hit her with a car, which isn't fatal for us, obviously.
No. Still not a choice
No.
of a weekend.
No. I was very annoyed that she wasted my time doing this. I may have also set fire to the car as well while she was underneath it. So I fled, obviously.
Yeah.
There's not really any coming back from that. Thankfully, it was going to happen. It was such a stupid structure. The Vienna Chantry was attacked. And as far as we know, most kindred who were there were killed. I have heard rumors she survived.
That is problematic.
Yeah, I don't think she survived completely intact. I think our brains can still break. I think we can still suffer psychological breaks. I imagine if she was there at the time of the attack, whatever was there, probably more often than not, if they caught her and she managed to escape later, they would have put her through hell, which I think was justified. So after this, I fled to The Hague and set up work. Started working on just doing my own little restorations of books and sending them in to get checked by other people, and eventually got invited in for a job. I just said that I suffer from a sleep disorder, so I'm more active during the night than I am during the day. They agreed to do an interview very late. Thankfully, it was winter, so it was getting later earlier, so that was to my advantage. Obviously, passed the interview, and ended up working there. My sire really, embraced me and then just left me to it. I rarely hear from him. And then I still harbor quite a lot of resentment about that fact.
I see.
Because what I've learned, I had to learn myself. The only time I really had any formal training was when I was in Vienna. The rest I've just figured out by reading dusty old tomes and lots of blood. So
Self-taught.
much blood. It'd make Flanders look like a small garden display.
Well, that is a possibility. We should definitely find out if she's alive.
I have also changed houses within the Tremere, so I will have some natural. There's two houses really. One that are like we want to be all traditional, and the other which is not.
And which side are you upon? The non-traditionalist?
The non-traditionalists.
That could be. This threat does seem highly magical in nature.
Yes,
Definitely does.
I know you're the expert, but they shouldn't be able to see me.
She might. I don't know. I don't even know if she survived. All I know is there was. The last time was about a decade ago. I heard rumors that she was still around, but that could have been anything.
As if she is around. she could be helping with stuff around Prey.
If she was around, I could try and contact members of my clan to see if she's about. It's hard for us to stay hidden. There's a natural drive in us to gain knowledge. It's part of what we are. That she'd eventually break cover.
If you can, I would suggest you find out.
That should be easy enough. I'll ask around, as they say. That's me, a very boring life.
Does not sound so boring.
Maybe it only seems boring because you're saying it. Sorry, that was too much to resist.
I did go
Save
searching
the
for
barbs.
philosopher's stone once. Does that count?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I did go searching for the philosopher's stone once. Does that count?
Did you find it?
Can't tell you that.
Then no.
That was fun.
Tabitha, do you remember your
Um,
own life?
I have vague memories of my mortal life. It mostly involved a living nightmare.
What?
A living nightmare. Screaming and voices and being hunted, and the only respite was music in the club that I worked in. My guardian was the owner, and a monster. I don't remember much. Memories became more lucid after I was embraced by a kindred named Lucien Malay. He's French. And he saved me from there. He taught me music, and we traveled. I learned how to play instruments and dance. We traveled across Europe, avoiding as much conflict as we could. I couldn't tell you where we went because I wasn't in charge of where we went. But he took care of me. I called him Luke. We would actually travel around, and I would use my gifts to read tarot and fortunes to mortals. And we would feed, and then we'd move on. And we did that for decades. And it was exhausting. Constantly forcing these visions and premonitions and trying to maintain some sense some sense of security and consistency. I left Lucien here in The Hague. I told him I was done. I needed to stop. I didn't need him. I don't think he liked that very much. I haven't seen him in a decade. met Esme that night. She helped me. And I believe I met Lou shortly after that.
Yep.
So we didn't really make many connections as we moved through Europe, and if we did, I don't recall. It was mostly just the two of us. Until I came here. He was my family for a long time.
I mean this in all sincerity. Is
Hmm.
Luke a physical person?
Yes, he is my sire.
You are sure of this? It is not a vision or apparition or...
Well, I'm not sure how else I would have become what I am.
No, there's no way of knowing. Go for the most obvious reality.
Other people saw him.
That is actually edifying and clarifying. Yes, yes, good.
That's a very good point.
His your separation,
Yes.
it sounds like it was not mutual. Do you feel he would have the power to go to such lengths to harm you and all you know?
He's a passionate man. So I'm not sure. I don't know who he knew before me. Or what he was running from. I'm not sure.
Another possible suspect.
What about you, Cal?
Well, I feel I must be older than many of you. Maybe, perhaps. I remember the first great atrocity of the humans, the First World War. I was young. I was born on a train, leaving Poland. My mother kept us alive. We would have this habit of moving in with elderly folk, and I would pretend to be the grandson. And then when the elderly folk would pass away, we wouldn't notify the authorities. We would live in their homes for as long as we could, until relatives would come around asking questions about the smell, and we would move on. There was a time where we were vagrants. I remember that fondly. People don't look at you when they think you're less than them. And that is when they don't even know that you're there. It becomes very empowering. I liked it a lot. The people were terrible, though. Everyone tried to take advantage of you. I was mugged, robbed, beaten, and abused many times until I got older. And then I had the opportunity for the Second World War. It was a fantastic time in my career. I had the ability to ingratiate myself to people, but also be largely forgettable. It was an odd set of skills that found me in a lot of I had opportunities to be liked for a while. Strangely, I was promoted many times. I believe I was on the other side. However, they wore the uniforms. I never wore one myself. My arrangement was that with my ancestry, Rothmeyer is my family name, that to avoid their incursions, I would infiltrate families that shared the same ancestry, and I would hand them over to the Nazi regime. It was quite easy to do. Then, unfortunately, the war ended, and without use of me, we fled towards Russia. I fell in love with a girl there, Agatha. She was also a survivor, Jewish as well. We were married for 30 years, and that's when she killed me and embraced me. It destroyed me. You talked about having mental breakdowns. It had transpired that I had her husband killed and executed 35 years before, and she had waited that long to enact her poetic revenge. She said I would never get to be anonymous again, hence the licking face. Little does she know, that just pushes you further into the shadows. The transformation was so painful, I don't really remember what happened to her or where I was. I found myself on the streets of the Russian heartland for a while. I fell in with an underground movement. I thought they were just deadbeats and poets and disfigured war veterans, but it turned out they were Nosferatu, kindred. After a while, I was able to use my skills for the KGB. I thought I was doing the same thing again. And this time, as you said, I had the empowerment of unlife. But then that war ended, their power ended, and it was time to move again. Unfortunately, the Nosferatu are a very cloistered little family, and constant dinners and rules, and you can't do this, you must do this together for the pack, etc. And so I came here, thinking I could escape their reach, but then Papa Vater apparently has reach here as well. And so for the first years here, I ate rats, and I abhor eating rats. And I followed their obscene traditions, speaking prophetic rhymes, no technology. It was a droll existence. They even have curfews. Their killings were just to survive, and while I learned a lot, I felt like an outsider still. I've always enjoyed being outside and then sneaking in. And then I found you, Lou. And I realized you were the mask I had been needing the whole time. And then we had lots of fun.
We did.
That is all I can think that would be pertinent to anyone who wished vengeance or to slight or malign me. Vater's rattlings seem actually friendly towards me. I expected a greater wrath.
Interesting. So, who are our potential suspects?
Reinhardt's rival mage. This Luke seems possessive. Is it possible they have united in some sort of Legion of Doom effort to bring them both down? Covens and coteries have been forged for a lesser purpose.
It's very fair. Should maybe do some research into Sky, the one that I fucked over, because I honestly don't know that much about her, and I don't know if she is a potential threat.
That
But
would be wise.
yeah, we can do that. But Luke and Reinhardt's rival.
Lucian does know quite a bit about the occult.
Lucian.
He taught me what little I know.
And they could be fine fellows.
So there's some potential there. Cal sounds like the only real antagonist that you've ever had thinks they killed you. Or thinks they've already got their revenge.
I believe my existence is her revenge.
Yeah.
What's her name again?
It pains me to say it. Her name was Agatha. I see her on many people's faces, but it's not her. She looks a lot like my ghoul. I think it's why I'm drawn to them. But she couldn't have found me. There's no way, right?
I mean, if she's as good as you are, then I don't see why not.
She waited 30 years. I respect the dedication to the craft. I was an old man when she decided to turn me.
Given enough time, I'm sure anyone could find us.
No, I can't see her again.
No, I think if we're looking at likelihood, at the moment, I think anyone from my history are probably the least likely to be responsible. And I think, Cal, you're probably a close second there.
Yes.
So I think our main focuses are this Luke, and then Reinhardt's old rival.
Tabitha, would we be able to find Luke?
Can't hear you, Sarah.
Peter, you're muted.
No.
Okay, you're
I mean,
back.
I just speak up hot. I just need to speak
Yeah.
louder. Get this closer. I haven't heard from him or known anything since that night.
You have quite an online presence. We can track you, see you. No?
Yes, I think so.
You could send a message that way. You said Esme helped you that night. Does she know him?
I don't think so. He was leaving that night, and I told him I didn't want to go, and so he left, and I stayed. He and I ended up at the club.
We need to find these people.
Yeah, we do.
I'll ask around about mine.
Do.
Hmm?
Do so. I think it is pertinent. Tabitha, you need to somehow find a way to check if he's watching.
If I can propose something,
Yes.
maybe Cal looks into Luke, Tabby looks into Sky.
Yeah.
I could look into Reinhardt's old rival, and Reinhardt could see if he can track down Cal, your old,
No, do not track her down.
or at least
And
find out if she's nearby.
Oh, no.
But the point is, rather than us searching into our own people, let's search into
Yes.
each other's. That might help us with a little bit more discretion.
Yes.
Yes, they would see us coming. Yeah.
Where
with
was
our stuff.
Where was Sky?
She worked for some kind of, I think, government agency or like department, or she was
Here?
very, yes, here in The Hague.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very dull.
Do you have a surname, Sky? Or her boyfriend?
don't have her surname. Her boyfriend's name was James. James Hogg. I very highly doubt he's her boyfriend still, but he might at least be able to tell you what her full name was. But yeah, the main thing is to just find out if she actually is dangerous or not, because I genuinely don't know.
Sky is a unique name.
It's fairly unique, especially in Holland.
And just to confirm, I'm looking into the A person.
You must. I don't think you should.
I
Prefer you didn't.
You've got to cover all bases just in case.
No, it'll be fine. It won't be her.
Are you 100% sure?
Yes, it can't be.
Why can't it be?
Because I
He
don't
did
want
so-
it to be.
I mean, none of us want it to be any of our enemies, but here we are.
No.
I honestly couldn't care less if it is Sky, but if it is her, then yeah.
I mean, I really don't want it to be Lisette, because I left her under a car that was on fire. She's probably going to be really angry.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
As we said, where resentment endures, she
Mm.
will be furious.
Tabitha's gonna do a quick search on social media for Sky in Holland.
I mean, you do get a fair amount. Like a lot of people use it as like nicknames and things.
Yeah.
You get a few like companies and like strange things like that.
Yeah.
So to narrow it down, it would take you a little bit more time.
Tabitha will sit down next to Leo and he'll show him her phone and just go, Is that them? Is that them?
Hal's like shaking his head in disgust. So.
There's someone that's literally like a company for skydiving, and she's like, "Is that them?"
And pictures of
No,
the
she's not an
sky.
idiot.
Yeah.
You'll need to tell me what she looks like.
Sure. She had she had auburn hair.
Oh, I think I remember this girl.
Yeah. She had auburn hair. She always had it tied up in like a bun or a ponytail because, she never really cared to make herself look interesting. So she just do the same basic things.
The one with the braces?
And she did have braces at the time. She might not have them as anymore, though. It was a couple of years ago. She did have braces at the time. She's always wore these ugly brown pantsuits. And would walk around the place like she had just the biggest stick up her ass, and not in the fun way. But yeah.
Sure, that helps.
I just remember her being this like real uptight stick in the mud who was just so boring. And she was in a relationship with this guy James, who admittedly wasn't the most exciting person in the world. I mean, he worked in finance somewhere, but he at least had a good sense of humor about him and liked to let loose every once in a while. To be honest, more of the appeal for me was just the fact that just the fact that he was in a relationship and I could fuck that up for him. So, yeah, I don't know if any of that helps, but
I will go ask my cousins about what was her name, Reinhardt? Lisette?
Yes, but be very careful.
I will. They are, for all their malform, discretion is one of their greater skills. And they speak in so many riddles, nobody can really understand them anyway. But they have dealings with all the clans, often the middlemen, backdoor alley men. If she's operating in the city, they may have helped her. I'll see what I can find.
yes.
He feeds a bit of his face to the bats, and then he's like, I will go now. I feel exposed.
Okay.
He puts up his hood and starts sleeping.
I
Do
will
not
say
look for Agatha.
that Cal notices the bats a little bit brighter and slightly bigger than it was before.
Awesome. You will live, creature. I talking to it on the way up.
Okay, so Cal is going to go and talk to the ratlings. Tabitha is using social media to try and find Sky.
No, she's not gonna keep doing it that way. She will do a quick search for James because she's James
James Hobbs.
James Hobbs.
Okay, because you've got a surname, it's narrowed down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's still going to take you potentially a while.
They're
try and
still
find the
together,
right one.
that'd be really helpful. It says like in a relationship with Sky.
I think she's not going to. She's going to get bored of that really fast,
Yeah.
and then she's going to go to the club and essentially talk to her people there.
Fair enough. What are Reinhardt and Lou doing then?
I'm going to look for those drawings we made of the symbols and grab the one from the latest, Luis,
Yeah.
Was it Luis, the Mexican dude who's getting posted back? And then I'll take those to go and study. Because I've really got nothing else to do tonight. I don't even know where to begin with. Well, there's one person I could ask, but the chances of ever finding this person is slim to none.
Did Tabitha say that the day that Luke left was the same day that Esme came into her life?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Like she got an argument with Luke, walked off down the road. He went off this direction. She went the other direction. Started to actually have a really bad hunger fit. Ended up. I think she probably would have told you this story.
Probably. Yeah.
So she ended up in the club, fed and having absolute panic that someone was coming after her, and fed on someone in the bathroom, and Esme found her. And a bunch of blood.
Lou is going to go into Tabitha's phone and get Esme's number, and then is going to send Esme a text.
Okay, what are you going to say in this text?
I'm just going to send her a text that says... so I'm going to send it from my phone and say... need to meet. It's about Tabitha. Truce.
Okay, You don't get a message back for a while, but then it literally goes, "Who's this? How do you know Tabitha?"
I send her a selfie.
Fair. And then you just get back and, "Oh, okay." And then she gives you a time and a place.
Yeah, and I'll basically head out to meet her then.
Excellent. Okay, so because Sarah's, I'm assuming, eating her dinner, or eating something. Reinhardt, you go back to your little cubbyhole, and get the images, all the pictures and things.
What time is
Uh,
it?
It's probably not that late. It's probably only about 10, 11 o'clock. It's around this time of year, so it started getting dark quite quickly.
Okay, I'm gonna hop in the get a taxi again. Go back to that church.
Okay. You arrive, and you can still feel eyes, like you know he never goes anywhere alone. And but Akila isn't there. So do you just walk straight in?
Yeah, I'll just walk straight in.
Okay. So this, he's now essentially like sitting on top of the altar.
Sorry?
He's sitting on top of the altar as you walk in.
Okay, so keep walking up, and then
He just does this. Puts his hand out.
okay, I'll hand them over and say I need those back.
We'll see.
No, I need those back. People know I have them.
And he starts looking through them. He's completely ignoring you at this point.
Well, since he's ignoring me, I'm going to take my phone out. I'm going to message Akila, say that I'm looking for the sire of another kindred. The sire's name was Agatha. Don't have surname. I don't think we were given a surname, did we?
Nope.
And the kindred that she sired was Cal, and was it Rothmere? Is that the surname we were given? Yeah, and the Cal Rothmere.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send her. Just I just need some help finding this Agatha.
Okay. You get an almost instant message back going, "If I do this, you'll owe me one."
Sure.
And then you just get back like a thumbs up. Well, actually, it wouldn't be a thumbs up because you don't get emojis. So it'd just be
Yeah, I should probably upgrade my phone at some point.
But it's one of those where you figure it's going to be something like that.
It's either her laughing or giving me a thumbs up.
Or potentially swearing, but this hasn't been a mean interaction, so it's probably not a middle finger emoji.
I don't know.
So, I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Crack and roll, excellent. Okay, so, sorry, I'm now sitting at a weird angle. I've got a cat under my leg.
No.
So I'm very much like he's refusing to take his antibiotics. So he's going in the huff.
Oh dear. I mean, did you ever have those things where you have in cat's pills where you put the medicine in it? It's like a syringe and it shoots it down with water?
No. I got like the Mario
Luckily not
pills.
for a long time.
Yeah,
No, I was told I could crush it and put it in his food.
yeah, we had that.
It's,
Tried to use it. I think it was for Pete, and he just bit it in half.
yeah,
They
Just
know-
out of
they know
pure
that-
rage, he just bit it
yeah.
in half.
yeah.
I don't want any of it.
I mean, it's not an unreasonable response. You've literally just launched something down his throat.
If you tried doing it another way, it's just pain and bleeding.
Yeah.
This is true. Okay, so as you are sitting there and obviously messaging Akira, you can sense that someone's looking at you. And you look up and he's staring at you with a strange look on his face. He's like, these symbols I haven't seen since I was first embraced. He's like, where did you say you found these?
Inside someone. That was on their organs. Well, to be precise, it was on their heart, lung, liver, stomach, spleen. And he was alive when they did it.
Oh, obviously.
And surprisingly, being branded like that didn't kill him. I always remember humans
Well.
being a lot more breakable.
They don't always have to be. They can sometimes do great things under pressure.
Oh, and two of his fingers are missing as well.
What two fingers?
Index finger and pinky finger.
Ah.
Guess we'll be giving him the evil eye.
No, these mean something else to different people. This could be slightly not good.
Slightly not good.
Hmm.
Well, what is it?
It's a ruin, obviously. To essentially steal the life force from someone to move it into something else. Something that hasn't been done in a long time.
Any chance? Could the thing that you move it to be an elder vampire by any chance?
It could, but it doesn't tend to be. By the time you reach elder status, you're usually powerful enough to not need any extra help.
But more power though.
It can sometimes be the wrong kind of power.
Okay, so what else would it move into?
It could be anything. Use your imagination.
I mean, I don't really know much about this. As you said, it's the only thing I could think of is maybe into immortal to give them longer life without being embraced.
Possibly. Think of it almost like electricity from a battery, where this mortal was a toy. You just took the batteries out and then just put them wherever you needed them to go.
So they're people batteries.
Yeah, of sort. But you can use them in anything. I've seen people use them in specific blood rituals. I've seen them used to help fight things, to ward things, to create portals. If someone has the skill, a battery can be used anywhere.
So you could potentially feed these into a big ward of some sort.
If you had enough, it would take a lot of power to ward that big one.
How much power?
If it's up all the time, well, think about it. How much does it take to keep your ward going?
I haven't made a ward in a long time.
Well, the last time you made a ward.
Well, that was only overnight. It's didn't cost that much.
Yes, but you were just protecting you
Yeah, I've never done bigger than
for
that.
for one night.
Yeah.
And yes, it doesn't seem to cost a lot, but there was a cost. But if you're doing something that big for that long, the cost is going to be much, much greater.
Okay.
Much more than measly human soul
Okay.
or life force.
Wait, hang on. Did you just happen to say so by accident?
What, me or your sire?
The sire.
They can be interchangeable. Depends on
Because
uses.
I heard reports that people have had their souls gone missing, but they're still alive.
Oh, now that takes some skill. Usually we don't care whether they live or die.
Yeah, it's just a tip-off I heard. They were looking for someone to help them find people's souls again.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could just be superstitious nonsense. You know what mortals are like.
Mm-hmm. Have you got anything that goes into these that I can have a read of, so I'm a bit better informed?
I may have something. If you're at your normal home, I can have Akila drop it off later.
Oh, she's come to visit. I suppose I better tidy.
Like, you do you, Reinhardt. I don't know what you two have a rivalry.
Sorry?
I don't know what you two have a rivalry about.
Oh, it's just friendly competition. It's our way, isn't it? I mean, I won't hit this one with a car.
I would hope not. I'm rather fond of this one. He's been around for much longer than you.
I mean, I didn't even realise you knew the other one. That was well after you vanished.
Oh, I always keep tabs on my children. And he says that with like his massive smirk on his face.
Well, you know, like a card would have been nice.
Would it really have?
Well, maybe it would tell me where you are, so I could, you know, come and tell you what a dick you are.
Well, you can tell me now.
Okay, you're an absolute dick for just walking out. Everything I've had to learn I've learned I've done myself without your help. As far as I
Exactly.
know, our way was always the Sarah was always supposed to teach, not just walk away.
And I did teach you. I taught you everything you needed to know before I turned you. You just forgot all of the lessons. All of the horrible things that I had you do were all lessons. And if you think it through, you will realize this. And besides, you never wanted someone to hold your hand.
Someone I could turn to for advice would have been helpful.
When have you ever turned to anyone for advice? You've asked for questions and you've asked for answers, but you've never taken anyone's advice. You've never asked for anyone's advice. Sorry, just our cat butt.
Yeah.
moving across the screen.
Okay. So, what do you advise about this then?
Would you listen to me if I told you my honest advice?
I'll listen to your honest advice.
Okay. In that case, I would say to be careful. Something here is not quite as it seems. I don't know why someone would be using human batteries because they can be unreliable after a period of time.
Also, isn't this a massive breach of, the masquerade? Does this not... If this gets discovered...
Well, you've already told me that the sheriff is involved. I'm not worried about anyone breaking the masquerade.
And what about an elder vampire hanging out in a nightclub that people go into and come back with being empty? That seems a bit concerning, though.
Nah, it's not our problem.
Depends what it's doing.
Well, why don't you find out?
Because we can't get past the ward to get in.
Well, maybe the books I'll have a kilo drop off will be helpful.
I hope so. We did bump into some people at one point. We think that ward is potentially affecting time.
Oh, now that's interesting.
I guess
In
that
what
would...
way?
Um,
Are they going backwards, forwards? Is time staying still? Is it being warped? Are things
warped.
coming through they're not supposed to?
It's more time itself is just being... It's like ripples. We got told it wants back, he wants forward. Do not let him come forward. You need to go back. Which...
In that case, that could be what the batteries are being used for.
So people are trying to... I mean, because this sounds like this is getting slightly more serious. If people are making human batteries to screw around with time.
Not screw around.
Slow
It
it down.
almost sounds like someone wants something from a certain point in time. And there were rumors, part of the reason why we are not quite as strong as we used to be, that the elders of our clan could manipulate it, could bring things forward, send things back. But that power was too dangerous. And as you know, we got cursed for it.
What if... What if that elder didn't get the note? Didn't get the memo?
They might not have, but if they're an elder, they would definitely have been aware of it.
But they would have been cursed. It was part of our curse, wasn't it? When the first Tremere were turned, they lost the ability to do that.
Like everything else, not everything is lost.
Okay. So, break the rune, potentially do something with this seal, this whatever, and hopefully there isn't a time manipulating elder being held inside a nightclub.
How do you know they're there because they want to be?
That was my other thought, that this ward is keeping them in.
And if that's the case, you should be very worried about what will happen when they get out.
Yeah. Or are they being held there? And this time stuff is them trying to reach back to undo what happened, and the ward's been put there to stop them.
If that had been the case, if it was recent, it wouldn't take this much power to go back. I mean, if you're good enough, you can wiggle a couple of days, maybe a year, possibly up to a decade, with barely a ripple. If you want to go back further, it's all about the cost.
But you said if they were maintaining this ward, the number of dead would be a lot higher.
I didn't say they would be dead.
Well, the number of soulless people. Maybe I'm going to have to go and follow up on that rumor.
There are other ways of getting energy out of people.
Like
you
what?
should know, you're very familiar with it.
Blood.
It's very potent. It's the reason why we are who we are.
That would take a lot, right?
If you're talking a nightclub,
Yeah, I suppose.
that's a lot of people. A lot
Yeah,
of
and
blood. Wouldn't
that's
have
true.
to be a lot from each person. If they are open every night,
And it's queued around the corner. But they are queued around the corner.
so if
And
you have people coming in every night,
they don't take everyone in though. They
doesn't
only
matter.
call certain people in, and if you try to force your way in, you just go in a big circle.
They must be after specific.
Yeah, you can't force your way through the door. You just end up back at the start of the queue.
If the ward's that good, then I wouldn't expect you to be able to get in easily. It's like, you have given me as many questions as I've given you answers. I will get those books to you by tomorrow at the latest.
Okay.
Taylor will drop them off. And he's like, and he starts to walk away. And he's like, Reinhardt, keep in touch. And he kind of winks at you and disappears.
I'm just gonna let her like sigh and pick up the drawings and just head back.
Okay. What's Tabitha up to?
Tabitha is
Ignore
going.
the weird noises in the background of my thing.
I can't hear it. Tabitha's going to go to the clinic where Lawrence works. It's talking about Luke has kind of opened opened a wound, and so she's going to use unseen passage and go into the clinic to find and just watch Lawrence for a little bit. Lawrence looks like Luke.
Okay.
She's going to make a cup of tea and put it on the desk next to him and watch him work for a little bit.
Okay. He works away. He doesn't even notice the tea appearing. Very focused on what he's doing. He's good at his job. Just staring at.
Yeah,
Get
she'll
lost
just,
in memory.
yeah, just kind of mulling over, trying to ignore the voices a bit. As they slowly get louder. And then she'll make her way. I think if he puts down a pencil, she's going to take it. And then she's going to go to the club.
Okay. He
Where the
puts
fuck
it
did
down.
it go?
I feel like that could be how things go missing in my work. Just putting that out there. Just weird Tabitha's hiding in the corner.
Hidden
Stealing all my shit.
vampires.
Yeah, just stealing all my shit to mess with me. It is literally like, I swear it was beautiful.
I'm telling you, man, the vampires keep stealing my pencils.
But it's like, he gets like on the floor and he's like patting about under the desk and stuff. It's like, it was here a minute ago. What the fuck? And then he just ends up giving up and pulls another one out the door.
Yeah.
And then you head to the club.
Yeah.
What do you do when you get there?
She will find her followers,
Mm-hmm.
crew, and go to like the VIP area with a collection of them. And then she let's see how would she has, like, you know, we talked about that before, little visions and things of
Yeah.
different people. And I imagine she's going to be like kind of scanning some of them to see if any of them look like, kind of give a glimpse into what people do for a living.
Yeah.
And if any of them seem more government based or in like something that Reinhard does. He doesn't understand it, but it involves books and sitting in cubicles, probably with lots of paper and sitting for long hours.
I mean, you get a lot of that, but the problem with that is a lot of jobs involved sitting down and looking at things. So there's a few. Are you going to ask people about their job?
Yeah, she'll pick somebody and she'll ask about their job.
So you just get someone that's like, I'm just an accountant. I come here to blow off steam. It's a very stressful job.
I totally get that.
While not having a clue what an accountant
is. It's a good place to blow off steam.
It is. Like, you're amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, she'll move on to trying to find somebody who works more in the government, because that's what Lou had said. And she'll ask about she'll drop the name Sky, asking if people know someone that works in the government named Sky, just because it seems like it'd be a funny thing.
I mean, that's fair. You know what? I feel like this is going to be the first roll of the night.
Oh, I didn't know if I was going to have to roll.
We made it so far without rolling.
I know.
Where's my... Shoot, there are my dice. There's Ted's dice.
Dang nabbit.
Dang nabbit. I'm going to have to use Ted's. I don't know where my bag is.
Oh no. Let's see what it's going to be.
I think it's across the house. Ooh, which ones am I going to use? Probably all of them. He doesn't have... Ooh, there's that. I like these. How many I need to get? I don't know how many I need to... Or what I need to roll.
Okay, I feel like this is probably going to be a resolve and politics because
Solve
you're
it.
actually now looking for someone in that type of environment.
Resolve. All right, so that's 3. But one of them needs to be my hunger dice, right?
Yeah.
The resolve and politics.
Yep.
I don't have anything in politics. But everything is connected. Can I use streetwise in terms of how I'm talking to people?
I would say yes in this case.
I'm
I
trying
think
to
if you
find-
were anywhere else, it wouldn't really work. But you are in your environment. Your home
These
turf.
my people,
It is your people.
and they wanna help me. So that
Oh,
adds
such big fans.
streetwise. That adds 4 dice to that.
Nice.
All right, here we go. And the orange one, because it's different from all the other ones, will be my hunger die. It's just 1 right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that's a critical success. That's a critical failure. Whoa, I got a critical failure on my hunger die.
No,
And
that just
so-
adds 2 to your hunger at the moment. So.
Okay, 2?
Yeah.
Whew. Goes up to 3 then. So I've got 1 critical success and a success, and then a critical and 2 critical failures.
Okay, so you find people that work in the government,
Yeah.
and you find people that work for someone called Sky, but none of them overlap. The problem with the government is it covers a wide variety of things. So,
Yeah.
and not all of them would go to a club on a weekday. So,
Fair. I'm just trying to find people that could be connected. I will
Yeah.
also mention, I'll start to mention James Hobbs, who seemed to be probably the more fun of the 2.
possibly. Again, so far, nobody, like, they might know a James, but they don't know his surname, and because you can't describe really what he looks like,
Yeah.
you just got he didn't look alright, but he was a good guy, he was kind of funny. That doesn't really help.
No. Fair enough.
So,
I will need more information from my friend.
you will need more room. Is Tabitha doing anything else while she's at the club?
She'll play some songs, so she'll work.
Fair enough.
And then she's going to pick someone out of the crowd to feed on before she leaves.
Fair enough. Are you just going to use your...
I'll use our resources, our people. I'll pick
Yeah.
somebody from in there.
That's fair. I would say at this stage it's kind of going off the hitch. Like, you're not really hungry, but you know that if you don't feed soon, you're going to go mental. So,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. That goes off
Betty's
without a
getting feisty and she needs to stop.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Excellent. And then obviously Tabitha plays a few songs. I feel like
Yeah.
Steve at this point is well aware of what you're like. And everyone just goes with it. Like, if you come in, you want to play a few sets, everyone's just like, yeah, okay, just lets you. And
Yeah.
then
I'll play it with
Carrie
the,
picks up-
I'll work with the DJ that's there too. I
Yeah,
think that would be fun.
yeah. Oh yeah, like what I say is they're quite like, you're a good person to work with.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the music. So you'll weave in and out, and it turns the sets into something kind of pretty cool. So all the DJs
It's gotta be
are really happy.
organic. You
Yeah.
gotta let it just happen. It's like
What a
it's like
vibe.
it's like, you know, you gotta let it just rise up from the grave.
Like,
I'm so high.
Yeah.
I'm so high.
Okay, so Tabitha's having a great night now.
Yeah.
Good.
What are Cal and Lou up to?
I'm going to
What are
see
you doing
Esme.
Oh yeah.
What's Cal up to?
I'm gonna go
You're
see
gonna
the
see the
cousins.
Ratlings.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will do Lou first.
Okay.
And then, so you go to the pre-appointed
Just
meeting.
just in case I have to roll at some point. At what point does my hunger start going back up after I killed David?
Oh, it does. It basically you go down to 0, and then it's literally like almost the next day you go back up to 1. You're almost
Okay.
constantly hungry. It's like with us, you could stuff yourself, and be really, really full, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning and you're really hungry.
Always gotta
Exactly
eat.
the same.
Does mine,
Yeah.
when I feed, does mine go down then, or?
It goes back down to 1. It only goes to 0 if you drain the person's battery.
Yeah. So yeah, I go to the pre-appointed meeting place and time to go and speak with Esme.
So it's basically it's almost like the Tower Bridge, where you are aware that Tabitha's met with Esme a few times. She doesn't trust you enough to go to the secret place that she set up for her and Tabitha.
That's fair.
So yes, when you start to approach the bridge, she's already waiting for you.
Let's go. Why the bridge? So you can throw me off if you don't like what I have to say?
Don't be silly. It's just I enjoy the water.
That's fair. I need to ask you about something. You're
Mm-hmm.
well aware of the things that have been happening with Tabitha, I assume, and us.
Unfortunately, I do keep telling her to stay away, but I know what she's like.
Well, apparently there was no chance of that happening because someone from one of our pasts is behind all this stuff. And I wanted to follow up on a lead from Tabitha's past that I feel like you might know something about.
Ah, look.
Yes. Just found very interesting when Tabitha described it and how you just happened to appear as soon as he left.
I mean, I don't know how much Tabitha's actually aware of what happened that day. Unfortunately, I have known Luke for longer than I care to admit.
Interesting.
I did not know about Tabitha until the day I met her. And let me tell you, that was a whirlwind.
It always is with her. I am very curious as to why Luke. Why this is a thing.
Because Luke isn't his real name.
Ah, and what is his real name?
That I will not tell you. That is for Tabitha to know only, and only if she wants to really truly know it.
Well, out of the interest of keeping Tabitha safe and out of the interest of keeping all of us safe, we are each individually looking into each other's backstories so that we can remain a little bit more under the radar. So, if you really care about Tabitha as much as you seem to claim you do, I wouldn't withhold information from me right now. I know that you don't necessarily think very highly of me.
I have never said that.
No, but well, if you lifted your nose any further up into the air, I would be able to see your brain right now. Look,
Well,
I don't care what you think of me. Tabby is my sister. Not literally, of course, but in every other way. I am not going to let anything happen to her. And I will put myself on the line if it has to come down to that.
I
But
mean, this is good to know. But Tabitha's like a child.
I know. The fact of the
And
matter is, this Luke might have something to do with what's going on, and I need to know who he is.
I can tell you with 100% certainty that Luke will never be a problem in Tabitha's life.
Why?
He's not dead. He's not dead. I just happen to know exactly where he is.
Where?
He's in the city of sorts. Just know that he's not leaving where he is unless I get him to.
You know, with everything that has been going on, with all of this, all of this crap, all of this mystery, having people who are supposedly on our side withholding information doesn't feel great. Now, I know you don't trust me, and I don't particularly care. But you can trust one thing for certain, and that is that I will stop at nothing to protect my sister if I feel that there is a danger.
And I keep telling you, I've never given you an impression that I don't trust you. I know you care for them.
It's fine.
I know this.
Why won't you give me this information?
Because if I tell you, there's a chance you could tell Tabitha, and Tabitha's not ready to know this.
I am not going
Just
to tell.
know that I will give you a clue then. What happens when you stick a vampire through the heart?
I know very well. I've seen it happen. And if you remember the little mess we cleared up for you all that time ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
Not that
It
long.
literally, out of in game time, it's literally been like 3 weeks since that.
That little cleanup we did for you 3 weeks ago. I've seen it happen. I know what happens when you stake a vampire through the heart. Have you checked on him?
Oh, frequently. It's become a slight pleasure of mine, shall we say. He eventually will regrow body parts. Maybe. But like I say, he is of no danger to Tabitha. The last time she saw him was the last time she saw him. And it was also the last time that he saw her. He never left the country. He never left the city. He's been in my care almost since that night. So when I tell you that Tabitha is like my child, I mean it.
And that's why she ended up getting bitch slapped by the sheriff last time you took her away from us.
To be fair, the sheriff has done a lot worse to a lot of other people, and a bitch slap is probably the nicest thing I've ever seen her do to someone. Zola is not a woman to be messed with.
No, I get that.
Oh no, you have no idea. No idea at all how bad she can be. So yes, Tabitha got bitch slapped. I got worse. Will I complain about it? No, because I protected Tabitha like a mother should. And I did apologize for her getting bitch slapped, but I did also warn her not to get involved, not to take it too far. But Tabitha will be, and I will make it up to her soon.
Who was he? What was his real name? I am not going to tell Tabby. But I need to know in case there is something of significance.
There is nothing of significance.
I will make that judgment. Because it is not just her neck on the line, it is mine and my friends, all of us, have our necks on the line right now.
It's everyone's neck on the line if what is happening, if what we suspect could be happening is happening. We
They're not-
will all be fucked.
But they're not targeting you specifically. They are targeting
you know?
us.
How do you know? Have you actually spoken to anybody outside of your little group? Have you actually reached out for information from other people? Apart from it's all me, you've all been incredibly selfish. You're not the only one that is going through things like this. We've lost good people looking through this. The sheriff is on a high alert, which means anyone that gets in our way is losing a limb, if they're lucky. And you think that we care specifically about you?
No, I don't think you care specifically about anyone.
Oh, I do. And that's why I'm protecting her. And that's why you don't need to worry about Luke. He has nothing to do with this. Because the only people who know that he is here in this city still is me and you.
Okay.
As far as anyone else is aware, he left and went back to America. The people that are over there think he's still traveling around Europe.
It must just kill you that she decided to come and stay with me rather than you.
No. She's a child. She's free to do what she wants to do.
If you're wrong,
Oh, if I'm wrong, my dear, it will be the least of your worries. Believe me.
fine then. I will take you at your word. And whilst I do not feel the need to trust you on what you say at all, I will put everything on the line to keep her safe.
I know. And that's why I've told you.
All right then.
So I'm getting totally distracted by all of these blinking lights in that channel, by the way. I have a serious moment, guys. Yeah, so Esme's like, tell Tabitha I love her. And
I'm not telling Tabitha that I came out here to see you at all.
that's fair. I'll tell her later.
That's fine. Take care.
And she's like, oh, if I find out that you've told a soul about this, just know that Tabitha will never forgive you. And then she turns around and walks away. I have a thing about characters walking away and leaving you guys. Just out there.
You love it.
Don't tell your characters now.
Lou will kind of stay on the bridge for a moment and just kind of watch her leave. And kind of just do a kind of look around the area to see if he can notice anyone else nearby. That might have like seen what was going on.
Okay.
But
In that case, if you roll awareness,
can I add heightened senses to this?
you can indeed. So that would give you an extra
die.
Okay. Yeah. I will say though that even under the streetlights, as you watched Esme disappear, she literally just disappeared right in front of you, right under a streetlight. She did that very much on purpose to show you that she has far more power than you do at the moment.
So,
She's like, "That's my baby. You're threatening." Sorry.
well, that's not good. I got 2 standard failures.
Just like that, Sarah.
2 standard failures and a critical failure on the hunger die.
Oof. So that's add 2 to your hunger.
Yep. And puts me up to
And
3.
you couldn't tell if anyone else was there at all.
No.
I feel like your mind's too busy reeling.
I like that. She's
with
really
all this
got to
new
you.
information.
Your blood's boiling, getting hungry.
Yeah.
I like that. The
Mm.
headbutting.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun.
Good.
She's like, Tabitha's my baby. Like, back off, bitch. Like, she might trust you, but I won't trust you even if I could throw you over the bridge. So yeah, so like they literally under a full street light, and she literally just disappeared from view. And you know exactly what she's done, but the fact that you still can't see her is really annoying. Power move.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, just filled with rage and hunger. Lou is. I think Lou's just going to wander around for a bit. Just going to very openly wander around in the streets. And I think he's just kind of a bit stumped on what to think and do. And is just hoping that he might, just by being very public, that he might just draw some attention.
Fair. So you're trying to draw attention as this week.
Yeah. Lou is trying to draw a bit of attention to himself.
Okay, and what kind of attention? Like, are
That's
you
an
just trying
question.
Well, I'm more thinking, like, are you trying to do, like, smashing something, or are you just trying to, like, cause havoc, or you just want to, like...
No, Lou is...
sprinkle charm everywhere and, like, glitter, and then just...
Lou, by his very presence, draws attention. Basically all he's doing is just keeping himself very visible and very public. Like, not... He's not doing anything in, like... Yeah, he's definitely not doing anything kind of, like, destructive or anything like that, or causing a scene. He's under the impression that we may still be being watched. And he's basically just kind of walking around in a very blind hope that someone might be watching him. That someone of interest might be watching him. There's literally, yeah, it's literally a kind of Hail Mary play from him. He really does not have any faith that this will work. It's just, he can't think of anything else to do right now.
Okay, if you want to just do a straight charisma roll for me.
Sure. That's just 3 hunger die. No, none of those are successes. No critical failures, thankfully, but...
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's... No. You do your thing, and the only people that end up looking at you are the usual eyeballs that you get whenever you go out anywhere.
Sure.
What I will say,
I don't
I'm
suppose
not
I
going to
could.
make you roll.
Don't suppose I could add for stunning.
I mean, you could. What? That's an extra 2 dice?
It's 4 dice.
4 dice? Yeah.
I don't know if this will actually make a difference. Oh, that's 1 success and 2 critical failures.
Oh dear. So, and you get attention, just the complete wrong type of attention.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that takes your hunger way up and away.
None of those were hunger die. Those.
Yeah, but critical. No, that's fair. That's fair. No, basically, nope, doesn't matter. Nothing extra. People are still just doing
No, that's fair.
what they're doing. But I will say
Very
that,
Hail Mary.
yeah, what I will say is Esme would not have pulled that trick in a place that was so readily visible unless she knew you were alone.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So I feel like you kind of knew that, but you're still just trying to go.
Yeah, it's Lou's aware that Esme is more powerful than we are, but he's also aware that whatever this thing is that we're dealing with is more powerful than she is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she's under no illusions that this is more powerful than her.
Yeah. So even though she may have disappeared for me, that doesn't necessarily mean that she would have disappeared for everyone. And just because she saw the area that was clear doesn't necessarily mean that it is, because this could be someone who is just better than she is.
But to be fair, your awareness roll was naff. So
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You actually know anyway.
Lou has no clue. He's literally just kind of like is wandering blind at this point and just hoping blind luck will catch up with him.
Well, so far,
no, it really hasn't. I used to roll so well the last few sessions.
Yep, it's about time.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming Lou just heads back home, yeah?
Eventually just heads back home, yeah.
And then Cal, you head into
Yeah.
the sewers, I assume. To meet
Yeah,
up
he's
with
like
your...
stood ankle deep in the filth with his bat, kind of holding it like a little baby, I suppose. Now it's just like, brethren, I beseech you, the cockroaches that can't be crushed. I know you're out there. Filth that cannot be washed away. I need you right now. And then he just stands in silence for a bit.
Okay. And you almost feel a shift in the air before you hear anything. It's almost like the kind of very sort of like air around you starts to almost whisper. And you know that that's them on their way.
Yeah, I don't even look up. I'm not looking down into the eyes of this bat. His face is dripping into the dirty water below, and just, yeah. As soon as he feels that, he's just like, "Thank you for coming."
And they're like, "What can we do for you?"
I am looking to hire a blood mage named Lucette. She's
Blood?
of the old Trantry. I believe she survived Vienna. She must be good. I need her.
And you hear, the moment you say Vienna, you just hear like chittering almost. It seems like it's coming from the other rattlings, but it could also be coming from the shadows behind them.
Yeah, again, I don't look up. I just listen.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh." And they're like, You said Lucette?
Yes. You know her? Can she be found?
We hear all the whispers
Oh, I know.
from everywhere.
Are you sure she's not beyond your grasp?
No one is beyond it.
Then help me find her. I will owe you, as always, in your debts. Your mastery is what I need now.
So you just hear this almost sort of humming noise. It's something that's never happened in your presence before. And it's almost like the air gets very staticky. It's not like the sort of ward magic. Whereas that felt more like, when you're a kid and you licked a battery. Or someone tricked you into licking a battery.
I used to do it to the Game Boy adapter, yeah. I know the sensation.
But this one is almost like the feeling of a storm in the air, where it's very staticky. There's like whispers and humming coming from these in front of you. It seems
I'll
to
look
echo,
up at this point.
Yeah, it seems to echo all around you. There's slight sparks. They don't give off a lot of light, but it's almost like the shadows around them get deeper. And as you're watching, and obviously it gets louder, the noise gets louder, everything gets bigger and brighter, and it's a much stronger sensation. And then all of a sudden, it just stops immediately. And you just hear from behind you, saying, "I'm here." And it's a woman's voice.
I will turn around.
There's no one there. You can't see a thing. It's pitch black behind you.
Who is there?
And you just hear like the chittering of like little rats again. And they're like, "Oh, she is not beyond our sight."
She can hear us. You have opened a line.
To an extent. She is unhappy.
Where is she?
And you just hear a bit more chittering, and then you hear the woman's voice again. And she says, "Patty." She's in Paris.
Yeah.
And you, as you're sort of looking around, it's still pitch black around you, but you almost get like a flash of a face that comes almost through the darkness. It's a bit hard to make out details, but you can tell that it's a woman's face. And then all of a sudden, it's like whatever this thing was in the air sort of breaks. And all of a sudden, everything's back to the way it was. You can see the rattlings in front of you. And they go, "She is as well as undead can be."
Will
she is
you
in
pass
Paris.
her one final message for me?
Speak, and we shall see.
Tell her Reinhardt is dead.
We wish to pass on a falsehood.
It is not untrue.
I do not like to play these games, as you well know.
You do not have to play. You just have to pass. It is important to our longevity, cousins.
And they go, "Fine. We will pass on the message. If you do a favor for us?
Yes. As always, I am in your debt, cousins. What is it you need of me?
They go,
Tell,
take this,
tell me. What is it?
and a box appears at your feet.
I pick it out of the sludge. Would you have not have handed it to me?
We do not want to touch.
Then why am I holding it? What is it?
You need to keep it safe. For now. It may help. But do not open until it's time. You will know when it's time. The box will tell you.
Why give me such an excruciating... Tom, you know I have to peel away what is underneath.
If you do that, it will not work. It will not help.
I like tuck it into my jacket. Tell Vater I am still a friend of the family, and I thank you.
As always. And then they
Okay.
just sort of filter back. But what you notice is one of the rats that stays behind sits up and looks at you. That's the one that's been living in your house.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And it sort of tilts its head a little bit and then like wiggles its nose and then disappears off in a different direction from the ratling.
I'm gonna look at the bat and be like, next time, kill it. And then I'll leave.
The bat sort of half squeaks at you.
Yeah, I'm trying to carry on. Feed it a bit of my face. And climb up the ladder. And I'll text Reinhardt saying, Dear Reinhardt, your rival seems to be in Paris. I do not believe she is a threat. I have asked my kindred, my cousins, to pass on the message that you have perished. It may buy you some safety. You're welcome.
I'll just respond. Thank you. I hope she believes it.
And then I'm going to go back to my loft in the wall. And feel like I got a job done. I've eliminated one person. Then he'll probably sit up at some point and then text Luke going, I am no closer. Are you?
Message back. On good authority, it's not Luke.
So you don't get a message back. And then about 15 minutes later, I reply, sorry, smash phone in frustration. This is new phone. I cannot find. I have a trinket that I believe is I am being lured into. Show you later. How is Tabitha? Question mark.
Yeah.
I think I was sitting here thinking about it. I think she would be frustrated with the lack of information, the lack of contact, and she knows she's not supposed to use her ability, but I think she will.
Yes.
So while she's DJing, she's going to fall into one of those trances again. And she's going to try to eke out information about this person, Sky, going through her connection with Lou.
Okay.
So trying to do that way to see if she can eke out some kind of information about this person.
Okay. So you would be able to. You get flashes of her life. So obviously you kind of see her in an office. You get a few flashes of like department of, and then like different things that if you sat and thought about it or talked to someone about it, you could probably work out what it is. But at the moment, it's just flashes of meaningless things in front of you. But it's like got department of, and then like government logos and things like that. You get flashes of her apartment, so you get the number but not the street. And it's like little bits like that. So once you have some of that, you'd be able to narrow it down fairly quickly.
Cool.
It's just because you're using the connection with Lou and it wasn't a good connection between them.
Yeah.
Because it was stronger on her side than his side, so it's more difficult to get a read on her. That, like, say you get her house number as is like 14C, and like say it's like department of, and then you get like pictures of like floor plans and schematics and things like that, but that could be a number of different things.
Yeah.
So you know that you could eventually narrow it down. It would just, like say, take you a little bit of digging.
She'll do it again for James, because that connection seemed to be stronger.
So for that, you would get the vision that they broke up not long after Lou came into their life.
Okay.
And that he is no longer fond of Sky. So you get flashes of like missed calls, text messages, all that sort of stuff. She's basically become like a jilted lover.
Yeah.
And he's done, but she won't let him.
Okay. Oh, okay. Juicy.
Yeah. And then I assume at that point you will head home.
Yeah. She'll
Excellent.
feed and then she'll go home.
Yeah. Excellent. And you all turn in for the evening, I assume, or the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. And that is where we shall leave it for tonight, because
Amazing.
we've kind of gone on a bit longer than I planned, but I did not expect your guys' backstories and then all the sass. I was feeling the sass tonight. Lots of dramatic. I really wanted someone to wear a cape. I could do like the dramatic cape throw and turn around, but it just wasn't feasible.
So tacky. Lou would never wear a cape unless it was like Halloween.
Tabitha would wear one.
Yeah, just whatever.
Tabitha would, yeah.
With like a cane and a top hat with like goggles on it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Well, wonderful. For all those who are watching, thank you for coming along and joining us. So we are Wayfarers League, and you can find us at wayfarersleague.com. We are an online community for people who love tabletop RPGs. This is our fortnightly stream of Vampire the Masquerade, which will be back again Monday. What's the next? Monday 2 weeks'
5th?
time would it be? So Monday 5th. Yep, Monday 5th of December. We will also be back again tomorrow night with the next episode of our Homebrew Labs series, which we will be creating a brand new fantasy deity. So make sure to come along and join us for that. If you're watching this now on Twitch, you can follow us to get notified whenever one of our streams starts. And if you want to be really generous, you can always subscribe to our channel on there. You can even do so for free if you have an Amazon Prime account. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to show your support and help us on that platform as well. But if you head to wayfarersleague.com, links there to everything that we do, including our Discord server, so come and hang out with us. But for now, everyone, have a good evening.
Peace out.
Bye.